Hello, everyone. This is Sir Cloyd, and this is Lecture to My Students podcast. This podcast aims to aid the growing needs of students who hungers to learn more about the subject they've enrolled and inevitably pass the subject, as well as those who has difficulties with internet connection, lack of devices, areas that are not that conducive for learning, and conflict of interest. I hope you find every episode beneficial, not just academically, but in your own personal lives as well. To my students, thank you for wanting to know more today than you did yesterday, and I hope you learn a lot from this episode.
Para sa ating random quote, ito po ay galing kay Ray Ortland. Sabi niya, "Our cleverness always seems to promise more impact. But that cleverness, in fact, is a liability brilliantly disguised as an asset." Hey, good day sa inyong lahat. Welcome sa panibagong episode ng Lectures to My Student podcast ng Gen Ed 02 Ethics. Tayo ay nasa ika-6 na lesson. Ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon ay unawain natin ano itong utilitarianism. At tingnan natin ano yung dalawang primary schools dito sa moral theory na ito. At syempre, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga strengths as well as yung mga weaknesses nitong moral theory na ito. Okay, ready na ba kayo? I hope ready na kayo. And let's get right into it. Well, first question sa lahat, should Batman kill the Joker? Pasintabi nga pala sa mga Marvel fans at sa mga hindi fan ng either camp. The joke, balik tayo. Pero kung tatanungin natin si Batman, hindi niya papatayin si Joker dahil sa kanyang no killing rule. Para sa kanya, regardless kung ano man ang gawin ni Joker, there are some lines that good people do not cross. At para kay Batman, killing definitely falls on the wrong side of that line. Pero si Joker kasi ay hindi nakakatuwa. Hindi siya titigil sa pagpatay o pananakot sa City of Gotham. Siyempre, nauhuli naman ni Batman si Joker at dinadala sa kulungan, pero alam naman natin na palagi siyang nakakawala at magpapatuloy sa kanyang masamang ginagawa. At sa tuwing nangyayari yon, may mga taong napapahamak, namamatay. Since hindi nga gustong patayin ni Batman si Joker, kahit maraming beses na pwede niya na itong gawin, hindi ba magiging guilty si Batman sa mga buhay na nawala at mga taong napahamak dahil sa pagtanggi o pag-iwas niya sa bagay na dapat niyang gawin? Yep, I love to hear your thoughts. Pag-usapan natin yan sa sync class natin. Pag-usapan natin ng isang moral theory na malaki ang emphasis sa consequences ng mga actions na pinipili nating gawin. Ito ang utilitarianism. Magbigay tayo ng description, definition nito. Utilitarianism is what known as teleological system, taken from the Greek word telos, which means end or goal, in which the morality of an act is determined by the end result. Another, it commonly argues, utilitarianism, that the moral choices is the one that produces the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Or the moral choice is the course of action that produces more good consequences than harmful ones. Magbigay pa tayo ng isa pang definition nitong utilitarianism. Utilitarianism is a moral theory that focuses on consequences of our actions and treats intentions as irrelevant. Now, let's break down this description or definition of utilitarianism. Sa view na ito, ipinakikita sa atin na maaring maituring na tama, mabuti o moral ang isang gawa o desisyon sa resulta nito. Sinasabi dito na hindi lang natin pinipili o ginagawa ang isang bagay dahil sa ito ang magpapasaya o makabubuti sa atin. Bagkus, itinuturo ng utilitarianism na ibase natin ang pagtimbang sa kung ano ang mabuti o tama sa dami ng mga tao na makikinabang dito o mapapasaya nito. Dagdag pa, hindi lamang ang mag-produce ng greatest happiness for the greatest number of people ang aim. Kasama rin ang pagpili ng isang aksyon na mas nakapagdudulot ng mabuti kaysa masama. Para sa mga utilitarians, good consequences is equal to good actions. Now, the question is, what are good consequences? Utilitarians argue that actions should be measured in terms of happiness or pleasure that they produce. Dagdag pa nila, happiness is our final end or final goal. O, di ba? Katulad sila ng goal ni Aristotle, when he talked about and encouraged us to live a eudaimonistic life since it is our end goal. At bahagi ng pagiging tao natin simula't simula pa ay ang kagustuhan sa mga bagay na magpapasaya sa atin at maglalayo sa atin sa mga bagay na makakasakit. Therefore, it is only fitting for us to create a moral theory that will definitely maximize our happiness. So who would argue sa ganitong type ng moral theory na promoting or protecting, encouraging that person's happiness? But there are a lot of instances in life that seems to cater everybody's happiness is a futile endeavor. The phrase, you cannot please everybody, is always in our arsenal of rebuttals and discussion, especially when we wanted to end it. Haha, joke. Kidding aside, kaya isinama yung option na since most often than not, we will not be able to cater to everybody's needs, but the theory demands us not to think on a smaller scale, but on a larger one. So ito yung idea nitong utilitarianism. Yes, we won't be able to cater to everyone's needs, but we can identify ano yung general na acceptable or general pulse of the people. Can we put it in that perspective? And then from that perspective, malalaman natin ano ang dapat nating gawin. Ngayon, since we-break down natin yung definition, ano itong telos? Greek term na ang ibig sabihin ay end or goal. Pero ano bang ibig sabihin ng end? We can all agree that man does not act aimlessly. His every action is done for a purpose. Ang iyong pagpili na pakinggan ang lecture na ito ay may dahilan. Ang iyong pagbangon sa umaga ay may dahilan o maging ang hindi mo pagbangon. You are motivated to do things because something causes you to act on it. Maybe it's your desires, instincts, principles, or ideas. These are means or instruments to an end. Ito ay mga instrumento para dalhin o hilahin ka sa isang purpose o goal. According to Titus and Smith, ideas are the foundation of an action, and a person is not likely to make any determined effort to act unless he believes in something. Ganito natin tinitingnan ang salitang telos o end. Unless he believes that he will be able to accomplish something, that he will be able to get something from it, unless he believes that it will make him or her happy, doon lang siya magkakaroon ng determined effort. Hindi mag-act ang tao ng walang dahilan, walang purpose. At itong end na ito ay may dalawang mukha. First, end of the act and the end of the doer. Ano itong end of the act? End of the act is the natural termination of or completion of an activity. Example, the end of eating or yung purpose, yung goal ng pagkain is nourishment, for you to be nourished. Reading is comprehension. And that of the Pokemon Unite game is scoring a goal. And that of talking is communication. Ang mga action na ito ay may natural na purpose o end. Kumbaga, by design, ito yung dapat na ma-achieve when we try to do these things, when we try to engage in this kind of activity. Ito yung kanyang end, ito yung kanyang purpose. Ganon pag sinabing end of the act. They have the natural design na tatahakin na dulo nila. Ano naman itong end of the doer? End of the doer is the motive or reason why a person performs an act. For example, a person eats either to appease hunger or to indulge his appetite. Ano bang tama? Kumain para mabusog o kumain para hindi magutom? Hindi ko alam. Basta hanggat may pambili, kakain ako. The joke lang. Babalik tayo. Another example is a person saves money because they wanted to buy a new cell phone, laptop, or they wanted to go on a vacation, or it could be other things. Ito ang end of the doer. Ano yung kanyang motivation? Ano yung kanyang reason? Bakit niya ito ginagawa? Ganun siya kaiba sa end of the act kasi Merong determined, merong designed na purpose yung activity na ito na definitely ma-achieve or mararating ng tao when that person performed this act. Sa kabila naman, uh, yung yung end of the doer nakadepende sa kung ano ba yung kagustuhan ng tao sa act na ito. Ano yung gusto niyang i-accomplish? Ano yung uh, an- saan niya gustong dalhin ang mga bagay na nararanasan niya sa kanyang buhay? Paano niya ito titingnan? Ano ang perspective na gagamitin niya para ma-identify kung ano ang kanyang magiging reason for performing a specific act. Okay, in ethics, our focus would be on the end of the doer, since the purpose of human acts is significant because it defines the nature of an act and reveals the moral judgment of the doer. Okay, so yun yung breakdown natin, mabilis lang, nung definition or description ng utilitarianism. Daanan natin, mabilis. Ang known proponents ng utilitarianism, ito ay nakilala kina Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, at meron pa silang mga contemporaries niyan. Siyempre, ini-improve nila yan to make it more relevant in the present times. Bentham held a hedonistic utilitarianism. Hedonism asserts that what is good is equal to what is pleasant. So basically, yun yung sinasabi ng hedonism, which maintains that the most moral acts are those that maximize pleasure and minimize pain. Ganun niya tinitingnan ang utilitarianism. Sa kabilang banda naman, si John Stuart Mill is leaning toward a more general concept of maximizing the general happiness of the greatest good for the greatest number. So, mas nakilala kay John Stuart Mill itong principle of utility na we should act always so as to produce the greatest good for the greatest number. Pero parang may challenge dito, pero may portion tayo kung saan natin pag-uusapan yan. Magkaroon muna tayo ng thought experiment. 20th century British philosopher Bernard Williams offered this thought experiment. Jim is on a botanical expedition in South America when he happens upon a group of 20 indigenous people and a group of soldiers. The whole group of indigenous people is about to be executed for protesting their oppressive regime. For some reason, the leader of the soldiers offers Jim the chance to shoot one of the prisoners since he's a guest in their land. He says that if Jim shoots one of the prisoners, he'll let the other 19 go. But if Jim refuses, then soldiers will shoot all 20 protesters. What should Jim do? Okay? Question to sa bawat isa at gusto kong pag-isipan natin as we progress sa pagdidiscuss natin ano itong utilitarianism. So, nagets naman natin yung idea ng thought experiment ni Bernard Williams. Itong thought experiment na ito ay ginawa ni Williams bilang critique dito sa utilitarianism. Sa thought experiment na ito, ay dinidemand kay Jim na barilin ang isa sa mga prisoners para maligtas ang 11. Kaya lang, sabi ni Williams, no moral theory ought to demand the killing of an innocent life. Yes, we do accept that. We do believe that. Kantian, itong si Bernard Williams, pati si Batman pala. More on that on the next episode. Balik tayo. Nakita natin yung demand ng utilitarianism kay Jim dun sa thought experiment. Since may mga taong gumagawa ng masama at nagkataong andoon tayo at may maaari tayong gawin para maging better yung situation, dapat may gawin tayo. Kahit pa mabahiran ng dugo ang ating mga kamay o madungisan ang ating mga konsensya. Ito ang stand, ito ang proposition ng utilitarianism. At kung pipiliin naman natin na walang gawin sa sitwasyon na iyon at binaril at namatay itong 20 people na ito, hindi ba't nadungisan din ang ating konsensya doon? Siguro dapat isipin na lang ni Jim na supposedly those 20 people are bound to their doom. In some sense, yung One person na pinapabaril kay Jim, that person is dead already. Whether siya yung bumaril doon o hindi siya ang bumaril. At sa kanya pang ang pagdating, lalabas na savior pa siya ng 19 people kasi dahil sa kanyang gagawin, yes, mamamatay yung isa, but those 19 people will still have their lives. Okay? Ang ano, no, valid, yes. We get the sentiment na we shouldn't take an innocent life. But whether we take that option na barilin yung isang tao or not, meron pa ring pagpatay na mangyayari, and it seems we are an active participant dito, whether we choose to participate by pulling the trigger to kill that one person or not to pull the trigger, thus leading to the death of 20 people. Paano na yan? Okay, bigyan natin ng solution yung parang problema, no? Parang, kung magfa-follow ka sa moral theory na ito, ay meron ka namang dalawang option. Since nakikita mo na may validity itong utilitarianism, meron kang option. Merong dalawang primary school itong utilitarianism. The first is ACT utilitarianism, which is also called classical utilitarianism. Ito yung pinropose ni Jeremy Bentham at ni John Stuart Mill. ACT utilitarianism uses the consequences of any given course of action to determine its morality. Consequences ng kahit na anong course of action ay nakadepende sa ay ang siyang magdidikta kung ito ba ay moral o hindi. Dagdag pa, in any given situation, you should choose the action that produces the greatest good for the greatest number. In any situation, and any given course of action, ay dapat ang sentro, dapat ang magbe-benefit ay ang mas nakararami, yung greatest good for the greatest number. But one could argue that sometimes the act that will produce the greatest good for the greatest number can seem just wrong. Another thought experiment. Suppose a doctor who has 5 patients that needs organ transplant. One needs a heart, a lung, a liver, and 2 are waiting for kidney. Alam nung doktor na ito na before pa mabigyan ng pagkakataon na magka-organ transplant itong mga ito, they will definitely die dahil sa haba ng list, dahil sa konti yung supply. And then, so happen na may neighbor itong doctor na ito who has no family, an abandoned one, and for his or her perception, not even a nice guy. And that neighbor who miraculously a match to all 5 patients. So, yun yung thought experiment natin. Ngayon, ano ang gagawin ng isang act utilitarian? Ang isang act utilitarian ay pipiliin na kidnapin at patayin ng neighbor na ito para mailigtas ang 5 niyang patient. It is the greatest good for the greatest number, di ba? Yep, may namatay na isa, pero may 5 namang nadugtungan ng buhay. Remember, utilitarians argue where morality is concerned, as special as you are, yes, you are no more than special than anybody else. Again, utilitarians argue where morality is concerned, as special as you are, as special as we are no more than special than anybody else. Pain is pain, regardless of who's experiencing it. The death of the neighbor would be no worse than the death of any of those patients dying on the transplant list. Kung tutuusin nga, it's 5 times less bad than all 5 of their deaths. Ganon tinitingnan ng isang act utilitarian ang sagot doon sa thought experiment na ito. Ngayon, dahil dito parang papaisip ka eh. Yes, we get the idea, but I cannot accept that. Ngayon, yung second option, pakinggan mo, baka magustuhan mo. Yung rule utilitarianism, it formulates rules based on the tendency of certain actions to produce a predictable set of consequences. Another, we ought to live by rules. that in general are likely to lead to the greatest good for the greatest number of people. Now, anong pinagkaiba nito dito sa act utilitarianism? Dito naman, this view, rule utilitarianism, holds that yes, there are going to be situations where killing an innocent people will lead to the greatest good for the greatest number. Hindi niya ini-invalidate ito. Pero ang mga rule utilitarians, hinihikayat tayong ibase ang ating mga moral action long term at sa mas malawak na sakop. Ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Balik tayo dun sa thought experiment about dun sa organ transplant. Isipin nyo na lang kung sa isang society, may mga inosenteng tao na bigla na lang nakikidnap at alam ng mga tao na nakidnap yon kasi meron na namang nangangailangan ng organ transplant. At marami namang matutulungan nun at ikabubuti naman to ng mga nangangailangan nun. I-picture nyo, ano yung magiging itsura ng society na iyon? Functional ba? Magta-thrive kaya sila? Magkakaroon ba ng sense of trust towards each other, towards the leader of that society? I would argue na hindi. Ito yung sinasabi ng rule utilitarians. On short term and in smaller scale, yes, act utilitarians saved those who needed the transplant. Doon natin, immediate, short term, ang take, smaller scale, ang take ng act utilitarians. But on a long term and on a larger scale, anong resulta nito? This will instill fear to people living in that society. Chaos and dysfunction will manifest. And if nothing is done, that society will be extinct. So, rule utilitarians allows us to refrain from acts that might maximize utility in the short run and instead follow rules that will maximize utility for the majority of time. Naka-focus pa rin sila sa happiness, greatest good ng greatest number of people. May dinagdag lang silang element ng longest period of time. Yes, an act can immediately, a decision can immediately address yung concern, but ano yung magiging long-term effect nito? Katulad dun sa example, kung ganun yung nangyari sa society, hindi ka nalalabas. Kung hindi mo nauutusan yung anak mo na bumili ng suka or anything sa tindahan, hindi na mag-function yung society na iyon and therefore, yun nga, mag-collapse itong society na ito. Okay? Na sana naintindihan natin ano ang pinagkaiba ng rule utilitarians sa act utilitarians. Lalo na kung i-consider natin placing utilitarianism on the top of our hierarchy of moral values or moral theories. Ngayon, pag-usapan pa natin, ano naman yung mga strength nitong utilitarianism in general? Bakit siya appealing sa atin? First, ito ay isang simpleng theory lamang. Simpleng theory na madaling i-apply. Totoo naman, kasi ang kailangan mo lang gawin ay timbangin yung anticipated, predicted good consequences laban sa anticipated, predicted harmful consequences. Kung anong option ang mas makakapagbigay ng convenience, happiness sa nakararami, ay ito ang moral or right action. Wala nang punta ng rule book, wala nang anything na katulad ng kay Aristotle na trial and error. Hindi, check mo lang kung ano yung timbangin mo, ano yung mas makakabubuti sa nakararami, and that definitely is the right or moral action. Second na strength nito, it keeps morality from being reduced to abstract principles that must be strictly followed, regardless of the consequences produced by them. Ang utilitarianism ay isang option para sa mga individual na nais ihiwalay ang morality sa divine revelation. Kasi para sa kanila, itong mga moral theories that rest in divine revelation are too rigid and doesn't care if violation of these commands might lead to the betterment of the society. Lying would be okay, for example, hence the birth of white lies. Ganong mga take ang makikita natin na malayang gawin ang tao when they chose utilitarianism over other moral theories. Pangatlo, It doesn't require special appeal to divine revelation for morality. Yeah, same point with number two. But in addition, utilitarianism is appealing because it seems neutral. Regardless of what religion you believe or lack of it, you can still be catered. O nga, no? Yung kasing mga religion, they have their moral codes and they must be strictly followed. And a violation of those commands might lead to what? A punishment from the church, a punishment from a god of that religion. Yun yung mga nakaabang dito. Kaya hindi nila nagugustuhan yung mga yon at nagiging appealing at strength ito ng utilitarianism. Ikaapat, most people know intuitively that the consequences of one's actions must be taken seriously. Kaya appealing itong utilitarianism kasi pinaka-importante sa kanya ang consequences. Actions has consequences. Ito ay dapat seryosohin, pag-isipang maigi, lalo na kung kasiyahan at bagay na nakabubuti sa mga tao ang nakataya. Ang ganda, no? 'Di ba? Saan ka pa? Utilitarianism ka na. Ops, wait lang. Dapat din nating malaman ano ang mga weaknesses daw nitong moral theory na ito. Although parang na foreshadow na siya nung discussion natin dun sa kani-kanina. But bigyan natin ng emphasis. Ano pa natin? Expound pa natin. First, consequences of actions are difficult to predict and measure. Yes. If predicting and measuring the consequences of an action is difficult, can we be really satisfied with the result? Mahirap. And then sometimes we have this idea that uh, the past will not resemble the present o hindi naman palaging cause and effect ay masasandalan natin o palaging tama o 100%. 'Di ba? So isa 'yon sa weakness. Kung nakatingin tayo sa anticipated, predicted consequences ng isang action o kung ito man ay makabubuti sa nakararami o hindi, medyo mahirap atang isipin ito. Gaano kalaki yung scope na susukatin natin o ilang mga tao yung magiging bahagi ng pag-aaral natin before natin ma-identify o ma-determine kung ano yung beneficial sa kanilang lahat. Isa yun sa weakness. Second would be notions of benefit and harm are not value neutral. Marahil alam naman natin na maaring maging iba ang perception ng tao sa kung ano ang sa tingin niyang beneficial at harmful sa kanyang sarili at sa iba. Yung pagtimbang natin dito ay nakakabit sa kung ano ang values na pinangahawakan natin. For example, your view on sanctity of life, which treated the unborn as a living human person, leads you to vote someone who is of like-minded, even if the cry of the many is to prioritize the right of the mother to choose what to do with their own bodies. Okay, hindi value neutral yung pagde-decide natin kung ano ang beneficial, ano ang harmful. May mga prinsipyo tayo sa buhay na nakakabit na sa ating pagkatao na siyang tumutulong sa atin, na siyang guide natin to determine what is beneficial, what is harmful. Kaya yung idea na neutral ang utilitarianism at yung nagde-decide nito, second point natin, kayo na mag-decide. Third, it lacks criteria to direct the distribution of benefits in a group. Okay, since utilitarianism aim to provide the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, question, paano ba itong mga benefits na ito ay maidi-distribute ng tama o pantay-pantay sa target group? Yes, makabubuti ito sa nakararami pero dahil may mga mapagsamantala, may ibang nagkakaroon ng extra benefits at the expense of getting smaller portion. One of the most common charge kasi sa utilitarianism is that it cannot protect the rights of minorities and sometimes it can even justify obvious injustices when the greater good is served. So, yun yung challenge na pinapakita ng third weakness. Paano natin i-distribute if we are aiming to provide happiness for the greatest number of people? Paano ba nila ito mararanasan paano ba nila ito, paano ba magmamanifest ito sa kanila, di ba? Yun yung question. Fourth would be, it offers no help for the idea of individual merit. For example, an employer promotes an irresponsible employee rather than a responsible one. Why? Because his or her coworkers liked him or her over the responsible worker and is keeping everyone together. The employer knew that choosing the responsible worker over the irresponsible one might cause unrest and conflict to everyone. As a utilitarian, the moral action to do is choose the irresponsible one, promote that one, since the many outweighs the one. The employee's conflict over the responsible worker is less compared to conflict that might arise to the crowd. Okay, nabaliwala, no? Nabaliwala yung kanyang pagsisikap dahil lang sa gusto ng mga tao itong individual na ito, even if the responsible one is performing better. That's why may label na responsible, 'di ba? But for the sake of keeping the team together, keeping the company together, keeping the harmonious relationship with the owner as towards the employees, yun ang pinili ng isang utilitarian. Okay? Medyo no, nagkaroon ng discrimination. It's unjust for that responsible worker to be not promoted since deserve naman niya ito. But utilitarianism has no place for the idea of individual merit. Kasi the many outweighs the one. Kaya nga, the greatest good for the greatest number. Alright, ito ang utilitarianism. Ang kanilang proponents in the life of Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill. At yung dalawang option na meron ka, act and rule utilitarianism. Nakakita rin natin kung ano yung mga strengths and weaknesses nito. Ikaw na ang bahalang tumimbang. Ang sa amin lang ni Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. Kaya suriing mabuti ang mga pinaniniwalaan para may defense tayo kapag ito ay sinubok ng sitwasyon o mga taong nakapaligid sa atin. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Sa susunod na episode na lang. Muli ito ang Lectures to My Student Podcast. Have a nice day.